Hello Geek Speakers, this is Tiff. Welcome to another episode of Respect Your Shelf. Today I'm going to do just a short video talking about the wall that I made for this wall and gate situation for the X-Men mansion. So here's just a glimpse at what we're going to be talking about. So there's a couple supplies that you need. I use just regular pink insulation foam from Home Depot, and I used my cool little tool right there from Hot Wire Foam Factory to cut up the stones. And I just used the table and back to cut the foam a little thinner, and then cut random stone shapes out of the thin piece of foam with the hot wire cutter. And then when I was done cutting them out, I individually took them and kind of shaved off some of the corners and the edges and whatnot to make them look like actual stones. So once I got what I thought was enough of them, and I made them all different sizes and thicknesses, then I built the shell of the wall, which was, just like a piece of foam and a top and the pillars, and then proceeded to hot glue the stones to the wall in what I thought was an interesting, configuration. Here's a little close-up so you can see the texture of the stones a little bit. Then when I had that totally, well, and here you can see it, I also glued these little wooden dowels on the top to look like, the finials on the top of the wall posts. And it turned out to be pretty big. That one, each side of the wall is a little over a foot long. And then you have the gate in the middle, so it's a pretty large piece to store one. We're going to have to find somewhere to kind of permanently install it, I think. Unless I end up selling it, we will see. So then after I have all the stones glued on in what I like, then what I did, I took Elmer's glue and I painted along between all the stones, and then drizzled the fine modeling sand and then shook it off in the trash can. And this was to make it look like there was actual grout in between the stones. It's the little details like that that really make it look real in the end. So after all of that dried, and you have to make sure that the sand is allowed to dry and the glue is allowed to dry, then I like to put my classic layer of black gesso. Make sure you get in all the nooks and crannies. I did not paint the top of the wooden ball on the finial because I thought, I had an idea I was going to try to make it look like marble after, and I was going to use the wood grain and whatever. That turned out to be too difficult, but that's the only reason I didn't initially paint those black as well. But it's really good to get the black coating down. I also did not add these stones to the back side of the wall because I want to go back at some point and make block on that side so that you could actually turn the fence around and use it as a double purpose. Use it for more than one shot when you're using photography and stuff. Then I picked out some different colors of craft paint. So I picked some grays for the concrete pillars and such. There was some blues and reds and greens I used for the stones. Now what you're going to see is going to look pretty bright. And you might be like, that's not how it turned out. If you look at field stone, a lot of times they have a lot of these bright colors like in them and underneath in those chunks of granite and stuff like that. So I wanted to start with the bright colors, knowing that I was going to tone it down. You can see it's all wet still in this photo. And I tried to spread the colors out a little bit so there weren't too many next to each other. But sometimes it's kind of hard to be random. Randomness doesn't equally distribute things. Randomness puts stuff far and close. So I tried to accomplish that when I was using the colors on the stone. So then you got to let that completely dry. And while the stones were drying, I did go back and I started on the gray on the pillars and the top slab of concrete and on the finials. But here are the two pieces, just so you can get a better look at the colors that I chose. And they're going to get dulled down really quickly. So then I painted the pillars and everything like a medium gray kind of a color going over the black. But then if I miss something, it's not the end of the world because the black is under there. You're never going to see that pink show through, which is nice. And you can now see, look how good the texture of the grout is starting to look like. I think it really sells it as actually being grout. So then what I do is you have to make sure it's completely dry. And I used about, I think, 2 different color gray washes and then also a brown wash. And I started with the darker gray and brushed it over. Then I did a lighter gray, and then it looked a little too light to me, so then I went back over and actually did a little bit of a brown wash. And then I went back again and tried to age the concrete and the corners of the grout. So I took a brown blackish wash and put it in all the crevices where you think that water or moisture would have sat. You could even add some green to say that it was mossy, which happens in the real world. But I think it turned out pretty good. Make sure you get it under the ball. So, they kind of get moldy a little bit when they age the concrete. Think of what the concrete down, well, we live in Florida. The concrete here, when you don't power wash it enough. And you're going to see that on that kind of a wall. And that aging process really is going to help sell your pieces as being more realistic. So here's it all put together. I'm going to make another video on how to do the gate. I wanted to do some just shorter videos. Normally my videos end up to be so long. But here's what it would look like in front of what we like to call the X-Men mansion. And then, of course, here are some pictures that Pete took that are probably on his Instagram page just to show how it can function in some toy photography. But I think it sells it pretty well. And here's one more. And again, I would like to thank all you guys for stopping by and watching. If there's anything that you have questions about, please feel free to drop a comment. If there's anything you want to see done in the future, absolutely shout out to us and ask. But please subscribe to our channel and just let us know what you're thinking about our videos. Also, we recently added some t-shirts and merch like that, hats and sweatshirts, to our Etsy store. If you'd want to support our channel in that manner, that would be awesome. The link is down in the description. There's also a supply list down in the description. And here comes your little chance to subscribe to our channel. Press our little faces. These are also links to our Instagram pages. There's one for Pete's Toy Photography and for my painting and diorama building, and our Facebook page. We look forward to hearing from you. And like always, remember to respect your shelf.